The district's top official, DM Neha Sharma, woke up one morning and, dressed in simple clothes and without any government insignia, went to the market to buy vegetables. Her face wore simplicity, and her walk radiated confidence. But no one could guess that this woman was the DM of the district. Neha walked directly to a cart, where a 30-year-old woman was selling vegetables. With a smile, Neha asked the price of the vegetables. Suddenly, a small boy came running and hugged the woman, saying, "Mom, please don't make me late for school. The teacher will scold me." The vegetable seller replied, "Wait a little. I'll finish this transaction with this lady, and then I'll take you to school." The boy persisted, "No, Mom, let's go now. I'm already late." Seeing this, Neha's heart melted. Smiling, she said, "You take your child to school and I'll watch your cart for you." Though the woman hesitated, she found courage in Neha's confident words. "All right, sister, I'll be quick," she said before heading toward the school with her child. Meanwhile, Neha stood by the cart, observing the surroundings. At that moment, a motorcycle came and stopped next to the cart. On it was Inspector Aditya Verma. He got off and with a mocking tone said, "When did you start selling vegetables here? There used to be a woman here. Where did she go?" Before Neha could respond, the vegetable seller returned. Seeing the inspector, her face filled with fear. In a low voice, she said, "What do you want, Inspector?" "Please take whatever you want," the inspector rudely ordered. "Give me half a kilo of tomatoes, 1 kilo of okra, and half a kilo of papaya." The woman, without saying anything, quickly measured the vegetables and handed them over. The inspector didn't pay a penny but instead rode off on his bike. Neha stood stunned. She was silent for a few moments before asking, "Sister, why didn't he pay? Why didn't you say anything?" The woman's helplessness was evident in her eyes. Slowly she said, "Sister, what could I say? He does this every day. If I say anything, he threatens to take my cart. He says, if you ask for money, I'll take away your cart right now. I'm scared. How will I run my household if the cart is taken? How will my children eat? So I just keep quiet and give it to him." Hearing this, Neha's face turned pale. She felt a tremor inside her. She couldn't believe that the very protector of the law was breaking it himself. With a stern voice, she said, "Sister, this will not continue. I'm with you. It's my responsibility to get you justice. Here, take my number. Tomorrow, when you're selling vegetables, don't go. I'll be there. I'll see if the inspector pays you. And if he doesn't, I'll show him what the law does to people like him." Tears welled up in the woman's eyes. But for the first time, there was a sense of relief and hope in her gaze. The next morning, Neha arrived dressed as a village woman. No makeup, no identification, just a simple sari with her head covered. She walked to the cart, which was fully prepared with vegetables. Soon after, Inspector Aditya Verma arrived on his motorcycle. He stopped beside the cart and sarcastically said, "What's going on today?"
"You again here?"
"What's your connection with her? You were here yesterday and today too." Neha, still disguised as a village woman, replied calmly, "I'm her sister. So today I'm handling her cart." The inspector, with a disgusting smile, said, "You're even more beautiful than your sister. You look great today." He then leered at her from top to bottom and added in an inappropriate manner, "Stop it, just give me 1 kilo of tomatoes, along with some coriander and green chilies." Neha silently measured the vegetables and handed them over to him without reacting. As the inspector went to start his bike, Neha spoke sternly, "Stop, you haven't paid for the vegetables. Pay up." The inspector, irritated, replied, "What money? I don't pay for anything. Ask your sister. And don't talk too much." He started to leave. Neha quickly added, "You took from my sister however you liked, but not from me. You need to pay for the vegetables. We also buy the vegetables with money. If we don't sell, our house will not run. You're taking it free and you're kicking us in the stomach." This enraged the inspector. His pride boiled over, and in a fit of rage, he slapped Neha hard across the face. Neha staggered but managed to regain her composure. Her eyes filled with tears, but she wasn't going to stay silent. Shaking, she said, "You've made a huge mistake by slapping a woman. You will have to face the consequences for this." The inspector, even angrier, shouted, "You'll teach me a lesson? You have that much courage?" He then grabbed her by the hair. Neha cried out in pain, but she freed herself from his grip and said, "This is very wrong. I will report you. You have to pay for the vegetables." But the inspector, lost in his arrogance, said, "Report? You have the courage to do that? I'm an inspector, and you're just a vegetable seller. I can take you right here. If you speak too much, I'll put you in jail." He got on his bike and drove away. Neha was trembling with anger but controlled herself. She wanted to see how low the inspector could go. After sitting near the cart for a while, she called the vegetable seller and said, "Come now and handle the cart. I'll go now." Once the woman arrived, Neha silently left and went home. She changed into a yellow salwar kameez, looked like an ordinary woman again, and went to the police station. At the station, she saw that Inspector Aditya Verma wasn't there. Only a constable was sitting at the desk. Neha approached him and said, "I need to file a report. Where is Inspector Aditya Verma, and where is the SHO?" The constable replied, "The inspector has gone home for some work and the SHO is out for a field visit. You can wait for a while if you want." Neha replied firmly, "No, I'm not here to wait. I need to file a report right now." Neha's eyes were now burning with the fire of justice, and this fire would not stop. A few moments had passed in the police station when suddenly the door opened, and Showratik Rana entered. As he entered with heavy footsteps, his eyes fell upon a simple-looking woman dressed in a yellow salwar kameez. This woman was none other than the district magistrate Neha Sharma. Ratik Rana, with a harsh tone, asked, "Who are you? Why are you here?" Neha calmly responded, "I need to file a report." Hearing this, Ratik Rana sneered and said, "To file a report, you need to bring some money. It costs between Rs 10,000 to Rs 20,000 to file a report here. If you bring it, I'll write your report." Neha's face hardened as she replied in a serious tone, "What kind of money? There is no fee for filing a report. Why are you asking for a bribe?" Ratik Rana laughed and said, "Who told you reports are free here? Those who come here give money willingly, and if they don't, their report won't be written. It's up to you." Neha took a deep breath and said, "Fine, here is Rs 10, now write the report." After receiving the money, Ratik Rana asked, "Tell me, what is the report about?" Neha replied seriously, "The report is against Inspector Aditya Verma. He has misbehaved with a vegetable vendor. Every day he takes vegetables from her cart without paying, and when I protested, he raised his hand against me. I want strict legal action against him." Ratik Rana's face darkened, and fear was visible on his face. He stuttered, "He is our senior inspector. What's the problem if he takes something without paying?" "We are the police." It's fine, Neha understood everything then. The system had rotted from within. They weren't just wearing uniforms. They were exploiting the helplessness of the poor. She didn't say anything else. She quietly left the police station, but the fire of justice still burned in her eyes. The next morning, Neha Sharma arrived at the police station, dressed in her official uniform, traveling in her government vehicle, accompanied by her security guards. As she reached the gate, the entire staff froze seeing her in uniform. Upon entering, both Inspector Aditya Verma and Showratik Rana were present. Both of them were visibly frightened when they saw the woman who they had humiliated earlier. But today she was no longer an ordinary woman. She was the district magistrate. In fear, both of them said together, "Who are you? Why are you wearing this uniform?" Neha's eyes sparkled with the authority of an officer as she spoke in a grave tone. "Don't you understand the uniform? I am District Magistrate Neha Sharma of this district, and now I know everything about how the poor are mistreated here, how money is extorted from them, and how the law is being misused in the name of authority." The ground seemed to vanish beneath their feet. Trembling in fear, they said, "Madam, what are you saying? If you are truly the DM, show us your ID." Without saying a word, Neha took her official ID from her bag and placed it in front of Ratik Rana. Seeing the ID, Ratik Rana's hands started trembling and his face turned pale. Immediately, he folded his hands and bowed down. "Forgive me, madam. I didn't know you were the DM. I made a huge mistake," he stammered. Inspector Aditya Verma, standing behind, was also trembling with fear. He too folded his hands and said, "Madam, please forgive us. What happened has happened. It will never happen again." Both officers stood in shame, their heads lowered. But Neha Sharma's voice was no longer soft. In a stern voice, she said, "From today, both of you are suspended. Everything you've done under this uniform will be dealt with by the law. No one will disrespect the poor in this district, and no exploitation will continue under the shadow of this uniform." She then gave orders to the staff standing behind. These two should be immediately suspended. and a departmental inquiry should begin against them. The entire police station went silent. Neha Sharma had once again proven that the uniform is not a symbol of power, but a symbol of responsibility. Neha Sharma looked sternly at the two officers and said, "You are not worthy of forgiveness. What you did today is not what an officer does. It is what a criminal does. If I forgive you, you will do the same thing again. You will crush another poor soul. You will silence another innocent." With that, she began to walk away. But just then, Inspector Aditya Verma and Esho Ratik Rana both fell at her feet, their eyes filled with regret and their faces flushed with shame. "Madam, you are absolutely right. We truly don't deserve forgiveness," Ratik Rana spoke. "But please give us one last chance. We truly will change. From now on, we won't hurt any poor person. We won't demand money from anyone, and we will respect every complainant." Inspector Aditya Verma also bowed his head and said, "Madam, please forgive us. We promise it will never happen again. And if it does, you should not suspend us, but send us straight to jail." Neha Sharma remained silent for a while, her eyes fixed on their wet eyes and frightened faces. Then she took a deep breath and said in a serious tone, "All right, I forgive you. But this is your last chance. If I hear the voice of any poor person again, if anyone says that injustice is happening at this station, I will not just suspend you. I will send you straight to jail." And this time there will be no forgiveness. The two officers lowered their heads in shame. Their self-respect had been shattered, but there was a real mark of change within them. As Neha Sharma was about to leave the station, she glanced at the entire staff and said, "The police uniform is not for fear, it is for trust. This uniform will be respected only when the person wearing it learns to give respect." As soon as Neha Sharma left, the entire station was covered in silence. There were visible signs of shame and worry on everyone's faces. From that day onwards, the entire station seemed to have changed. No one took bribes, and no one silenced the voices of the poor. Every complaint was heard, reports were written without any fee, and the police were seen helping people from the roads to the market. The vegetable vendor woman also sat at her cart with a smile, as she no longer feared anyone. This story teaches us that there is no power greater than courage and integrity. If anyone in power does wrong, it is not their uniform but their actions that speak. And when someone stands up to speak the truth, the whole system changes. From that day on, the entire station transformed. The officers who once exploited the powerless now worked with respect and integrity. No longer did anyone demand bribes, and no one silenced the voices of the poor. Complaints were heard, reports were written without charge, and the police were actively seen helping people. Whether on the streets or in markets, the vegetable vendor, once fearful, now sat at her cart with a newfound smile, her heart lightened by the support she received. She no longer feared the authorities, and knew that justice could be fought for and won, no matter how small her voice had seemed before. The change in the police station was palpable. People began to trust the system again. The poor, once silent under the weight of oppression, found their voices and were no longer afraid to seek justice. Neha Sharma's unwavering courage, her belief in integrity, and her unflinching stand for what was right had not only changed the course of a few corrupt officers, but had reshaped the very spirit of the police department. It was a reminder that no one, no matter their position, is above the law, and that sometimes all it takes is one person to stand tall and speak the truth to bring down a broken system. This story is not just about the fight against corruption. It is about standing up for those who have no power, for those whose voices are often silenced. It is about showing that integrity and courage are the most powerful weapons anyone can wield. And most importantly, it teaches us that change is possible when we stand united for justice. No matter the odds, when Neha Sharma left the station that day, her heart was filled with a sense of fulfillment, knowing that the battle for justice had been won, one step at a time. The station, once a place of fear, had now become a place of hope where respect, not fear, was the driving force. And as for Neha, she proved that one woman, armed with courage and determination, could bring about a wave of change that no corrupt system could withstand. Her legacy would be remembered, not just in the district, but by all those whose lives she touched, in the belief that justice would always prevail, as long as there were people brave enough to fight for it. If you liked this video, please give it a like, Share it to make the voices of the poor reach more people. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such stories.